we are. Folks, I'm going to say again, just turn your computer up. I've investigated as deeply as I can on mine, the volumes on my videos, and everything on my computer is up on 100, so just turn them up. Cheers, it's Monday, the 22nd. No, the 23rd. Pardon me, because I'll sure hear from someone, hey, you got the wrong date. Oh, what a lovely, simple joy a cup of coffee is. Folks, I'm really glad that I shared with you my saga with regard to the Moody Blues and suicide. You know, I could give more details, but that's not the point. It was lovely to hear from so many people about the power of music and what it does for us and how it gets us through. And yes, it was good that one noted that the Moody Blues is a band that gets panned by some people and some critics undeservedly and knob-headedly. Those folks just don't know what they're talking about. It's like, it's obviously not for them. Along the same lines, I had some, I posted on Instagram in my story for yesterday a picture of me holding my CD saying, better than the new Rolling Stones. And I got a bunch of anonymous people trying to bug me. What do you mean by that? How can it be? It's like, my first response, is, what are you upset about? You're not the damned Rolling Stones. You didn't make the record. And really, ultimately, all I was doing is trying to call attention to myself by saying, hey, Rolling Stones made a new record. I made a new record. In so many ways, it's much more interesting and much more varied. Anybody dissing the Stones? People, man. So I'm up again early. Yesterday was a good ear day. Today we got a bit of whoosh. No, I'm not calling anybody's damned doctor. So let me just do what I do. So just like for a while Slow Dive was just the record of the hour, this is it. Yesterday I got a good buzz and listened to this and tripped on this. So much so that I needed to discover what is that interval. Let me see if I can share it, because I had to find it on the keyboard. It's like, what are these intervals she's playing? They're not typical. And I don't know music theory. So I have to find chords. I have to find the music. Let me see if it'll let me play, because I just did a try on the chords. Let me see if it'll let me play it. And I still didn't get it, but that was me trying to get the chord sequence on I Killed Your Dog. And I didn't get it, but I got part of it there. So it's like, it's mysterious. Chords are mysterious. It's like, that's really partially why I love music so much in the keyboard, because the keyboard is, everything is right there in front of you, but the music is hidden in it. You can, it's like the music is hidden. almost. Like that's the power of knowing and understanding music theory, which I really have a hard time with, and kind of brings out the dyslexia in me. It did when I was a kid too. So I figured things out by ear. But the new Lorraine album is simply fantastic. Simply fantastic. One of the best things I've heard in a long time for what I'm looking for. I'm going to say it again, and I hope some of you progressive rock listeners see this. This has what I'm looking for in prog that I'm not finding in a lot of music that is so-called prog. I'll give an example. There's this band called Wobbler that people are into, and they're accomplished musicians, but it's a throwback, and it's, to me, not very original. And yet actually it is original, but it's like it's a pastiche as opposed to actually being progressive. So that's the thing I'd like to say. This is actually progressive to my way of thinking, not people trying to repeat the past or follow a pattern that has been set before. I just want to make that point from my perspective. Lorraine is the most progressive thing I've heard in a long time. And on the other end of it, I just talked about the eclectic maybe band. This is progressive, okay, and this is coming from the background of a musician who participated in the origins of rock in opposition. That whole aspect of underground and progressive music, Guy Seggers. This is in the tradition, but not. It's moving forward. It's very jazzy. This is killer. So besides Lorraine yesterday, I had a good day of listening to music. And these are the records that got played yesterday, besides Lorraine, because I listened to Lorraine over and over several times. I love that new album. And I have on the computer the album before it. So I went back and listened to that with new ears. Fatigue. And that album starts off with like, whoa, 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 whoa. That album is like very interesting. The woman is badass. But to my ears, this new album is a push forward. And I relate to, someone said they thought the lyrics were dark. Well, I think those lyrics are real. I can relate. And listening to how I could go on, just like I did about Slow Dive. It's badass. Lorraine, one of the best new things I've heard in a long time. Okay, so what else did I play yesterday? I went up into this section here because I haven't been playing many records from that section. Parzival, Legend, reissue. One of those English bands like that takes from the tradition of English folk music and also classical music. They start the album. I was looking to see if they actually give you. This was produced by Connie Plank, I just noticed, and that's also why this sounds so good. But they start off with a classical theme that I recognize. I can't recall the composer's name, and I don't see it on here. But this was really quite enjoyable, and then ended up listening to a whole side. It's on the more on the acoustic side. Keyboards, violin, guitar. Really, really nice, and I love that cover. It's very fitting for the sound of the album. The next thing, see, I also like to watch music video and music documentary. And so the day before, I found this documentary on Island Records, 50 years of Island Records. Really good documentary. Great to get the backstory about Chris Blackwell and his roots in Jamaica. So that led to some listening, but not really reflected here, because I was watching some video and then I ended up in my Boris file. And Riot Sugar is a single that they put out from this album, Heavy Rocks, that, man, it's a killer track. It rocks hard. The band to me is odd because they purposely record and sound weird and muddy. And I've watched some reviews of the Rolling Stones. I'm interested. Okay, that's History, first album in 18 years. Like the upcoming Peter Gabriel album that's about to happen, first album in 20 years. But I've been checking out because all the hoopla about the Stones, and one of the complaints about the Stones is how it's really overly produced. You know, that it's so clean and slick. And, you know, I can relate to that because the Stones are a real garagey, basic band. So putting all those bells and whistles on the new record really didn't help. In relation to Boris, they have stuff where it's like, I wish it was recorded a little cleaner, but this is what they want, which intrigues me because they're really good. The other thing about Boris is the drummer, who originally was just a singer, rocks. He has this swag in his beat. They play some things that are really punky and loud and fast and messy. But when they decide to groove, they can groove. They have, it's hard to explain. This is why I do wish I could play music for you and not get my videos banned. I've had a lot of old videos removed and copyright blocked from trying to play your music. I'd love to play an example. That drummer can groove, you know, like it's hard to explain it, but it makes me move, and it's like, this is that thing. Not everybody has it, okay? So I've had this album of theirs for a while, Pink, and it's one of their collectibles. They have some real collectible stuff that I don't have. I do collect Boris, but this, I said, okay. I watched the video for the song Pink and noticed just how powerfully messy it was. This is, okay, let me get into Pink. It's been a while. Let me really listen to it and see what's happening here. And this album is very powerful, very punk, very in your face. And you see the subtle splatter. They do that a lot with their records, different editions. Excuse me. This is really good. It's powerful. And I've met them all. I've seen them 2 or 3 times, and I've met them. And Wata, the woman on guitar, with her stone face, and she plays the hell out of that guitar. She just wails. Literally, she wails. Quite a band. So there was that. This was sitting out, and this I played larger. Love this album by David Bowie. This went on after the Lorraine because my better turntable is out in the other room. So when I play that turntable, it's like I really notice the difference. This is a USB turntable. It works fine. But out there, it's like, boy, you can really hear the quality or not quality of how the record was cut and other things. And so I was really got up on the Lorraine and how it's recorded. And I was thinking to myself, this is probably going to be a big disappointment after listening to that. I was really surprised. This sounded great. And it's not a new pressing. It's just a pressing from back in the day, larger. I said, I'll be damned. This sounds great. And I really like this album. My appreciation for David Bowie, as I've said many times over the years, has just grown and grown and grown. I'm so glad that I got to see him on his final tour, the reality tour. Would love to have met David Bowie. Like, I would love to have met Ryuichi Sakamoto. So this was like, oh, wow. I was surprised. It sounded great. And then in contrast, and I'm also really kind of for contrast, I listened to this. And as I was listening to it, was it that album or another one where it's like, this is really a palate cleanser compared to what I'd been listening to. This is a 360 turn. Black Renaissance. This is one of those albums that I understand first came out in Japan or something. It came out after the fact. The person that made the album made no money on this, if I understand. Had nothing to do really with its release, if I get that straight. Okay. Harry Whitaker, producer and arranger, recorded this, and yeah, like I'm saying, if I got it straight, he didn't make a dime off this. And this is black consciousness music, modern black classical music, like some people are calling jazz. Jazz is black classical music. I like that term. This is spitting. This is black awareness music. And Woody Shaw is on here. Azar Lawrence. I mean, he's got players. Buster Williams, Billy Hart, Mtume. Good Lord Almighty. You know what I'm saying? But I understand that when it came out, it was not official, and none of those people made any money, which, when you look into the real story of rock, of not music, but of the music business, it's unfortunately true for so many. A lot of great music that's been made and is selling for hundreds and even thousands of dollars now. The original artist never made a dime. So, back to me. Thank you. Please. My music is worth it. Buy this shit. Oh, I heard from my cousin, Leroy, the 80-something-year-old fellow that you folks met a few years ago when he stayed with me for a while. Heard from him yesterday. I sent him a copy of my new album. He should be getting it today or tomorrow in the mail. It was good to talk to Leroy. He's doing well. You know, his wife passed away, but he's rebounding. He's a vibrant. He doesn't sound like he's 85 or 86 at all. His copy is on the way. You heard of the band Four Against? Nebraska band that's really one of the pioneers of shoegaze. Let me see if I can spot. I have the box set, but I also have come on, baby, come on now. Oh, I have. There it is. There it is. Pardon me. Four Against. Some of you guys know this band from Lincoln, Nebraska. Echelons. This is a classic shoegazy dream pop album. This is an original, although I don't have the wheat anymore. It was like it was messing up my record, so I threw it away. And again, back in the day, it's like I wasn't precious about collecting all the ephemera. The wheat was messing up the records next to it being pressed, so I threw it away. And it's common to this area, so I go out in the field and pull a stalk and put it in here. But I heard from Jeff out of the blue about a week ago, raving honestly about Interlude. I could look it up online, but it was pretty much, he said it's gorgeous. And that is high praise from someone who knows how to make gorgeous music, Jeff Runnings. Out of the blue, that meant a lot. Sitting on the shelf next to For Against, I've just pulled it to talk about, is an album that I don't listen to, but it's in my collection. Foolproof, No Friction on the Gramavision label. These are good players. This has a New Orleans bent. The New Orleans sound is something to experience live. It's joyous and I love it. And I've been to New Orleans and I can play the New Orleans style. I've done it with my dad, but I don't like to listen to it. Kind of like that bluesy shit the Stones do, and bluesy in general. Mostly, I don't like to listen to. But this is an example of an album where it's like, yeah, these people are really good. Jamaluddin Takuma is on here. Bernie Worrell. I got it. Butch Morris. These are the players. So I'm gonna smack myself in the mouth after this and play it, and see how much I enjoy it, and maybe make me eat my words. But generally speaking, a lot of that good time or just real people-y music, I don't want to hear it anymore. Except in context, like I said, in live situations where you're sharing the moment with other people. That's different. Okay, so let us hope for better news this week. I'm stupid to say that in many ways because it's just going to grind on, and these wars that are going on are going to escalate and not before they simmer down. And I wrote on my Facebook page today, someone responded already saying, same as it ever was, and they're right. But every now and then, I want to say, just for the sake of my own conscience, I just write things, and I'll say, so today what I said was, it's the undeserving who profit from the insanity of war, and it's the innocent who suffer and die. I'm just completely, it just stuns me how little children, just all of a sudden in war, they're just collateral damage, and it's horrifying. So, I don't know. Maybe ignorance is bliss. Maybe, but I'm glad I'm not ignorant. I care. Anyway, that's enough of me, right? How you all doing? Have a good Monday.